Welcome to the Unblock Your Business podcast. I'm Abby Rogers, success coach, business coach and hypnotherapist, and I help high achievers and business leaders master their subconscious habits for success, income goals and, above all, happiness. But success isn't just about mindset or strategy. It's about combining both and sealing the deal with a big dose of subconscious alignment, because our subconscious holds the true key to unlocking our potential. Let's dive in and look at how you can show up bigger, better, and more uniquely aligned in life and business today. Welcome back to the Unblock Your Business podcast. So today I am delighted to be interviewing the incredible and lovely Zoe Whitman, who is a long-standing friend of mine and co-founder of the Figure Bookkeeper. Now, Zoe's going to talk to us today about her journey from feeling really stuck in a job that she wasn't getting that much satisfaction from, and trying to run a side hustle alongside that in her own bookkeeping and accounting business, to creating an incredible business supporting others and realising other people's six-figure dreams along with her business partner. She's going to share with us lots of key tips and experiences and let us know what it really takes to build your business quickly and get to that six-figure dream. Now, I've known Zoe for probably 4 years now. I think we met back in 2017, just after I'd had my first son. And I arrived at our local freelance mum networking meeting with my tiny 7-week-old baby in my arms. And Zoe was there, and I gradually got to know Zoe through freelance mum. And it's been inspirational watching her journey through those years and working with her very closely, as you'll find out from the podcast. But without further ado, let's jump in and hear what she has to say. So, welcome, Zoe, to the podcast. It is wonderful to have you here. Just to explain to the listeners, I've known Zoe for quite a long time now. I think we both started going to Freelance Mum probably about 4 years ago, something like that. And got to know each other through that. And I've really followed Zoe's journey all the way along. But now she is running very successfully with her partner, Joe, the Figure Bookkeeper, which is amazing and going really, really well. So Zoe's here today to tell us a bit about her journey and just give us some insights into how she's got there and how you can get there too. So
it's lovely to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
You are very welcome. I can't wait to get chatting, because I know you've got loads to share, which is really going to help us and really going to be useful for the listeners. So firstly, just dive in and tell us a bit about your journey and in your own words from the beginning, I guess. Okay.
So I'm an accountant by training, and I've worked in various corporate roles. And then when I had my daughter in 2016, I thought, I don't really want to go back to work full time, but I don't know how I'm going to make that work. So I decided I'd do some freelance bookkeeping, and I during my maternity leave did some training, and I thought, well, I'll get a few clients and do a few tax returns. People have always been asking me to do that, and I've always said, I don't really do that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I'd tick all the boxes, make sure that could happen properly, and I did. But that business grew much more than I anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
And I went back to work part-time and did my bit of freelancing on the side, and then realized that I just actually had way too much going on, and I kind of had to take the decision to do one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
And actually that's when you came into my life, Abby, because at that point, and I'm very, probably being from a financial numbers background, very focused on like the security and knowing how much money is coming in every month, and that was really important to me. And it was actually holding me back from taking decisions that were going to be really important for moving forward. And we started working together, and that I remember a pivotal moment for me was visualization that you were doing with me, and you just made me realize that I was holding myself back, because my constant narrative was, what if it goes wrong? What if I can't do it? What if I make a fool of myself? And at that point, I was actually very emotional and realized that I have to just own it and step into it and see what happens. So you helped me so much to switch my mindset, and that then helped me start that business. And that went really well. I wrote a book and I won a couple of awards for the business. I hired people, so I wasn't doing all of the work myself.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the pandemic hit, and I decided to take a break from the business because small kids at home and things. But in the meantime, I had bumped into this lady called Zoe Wood at a bookkeeping conference, and having grown my business quite quickly, been invited to talk on a stage about growing my business. And I actually went up there and I started talking to people about goals. And believe it or not, I stood on that stage, Abby, and I did a visualization with everyone in the audience.
Right.
And because I wanted people to think bigger. Maybe this is going to come up while we're talking later on. And Jo was also there speaking, and she was talking about her journey of building her bookkeeping practice. And we really clicked. She said to me, I've really got this idea for how we can help bookkeepers. I think you're the person who can help me to do this, because she could see that I'd done a lot of personal development and I was quite focused on goals and what needed to happen to grow a business. We were really on the same page, and I suppose the rest is history. We've grown this business from that meeting, really.
Yeah, it's amazing how that happens, isn't it? When you turn that key and just kind of take that leap, all of a sudden things start to fall into place and the right opportunities start to jump out at you. But it can feel really scary when you're there before you've taken that leap, and as you say, questioning what if and just wondering what might happen. What would you say to anybody who's in that position at the moment, because it's a big one that comes up a lot?
So I want to say dive in. But I think that the sensible part of me, that part of me that's really still very focused on security and the financial aspect of leaving any role to start your own business or do whatever it is, I would always say, do your numbers, understand what needs to happen for you to be able to step in, properly 2 feet into this project, because often we approach business from a point of, well, if I'm only making £100, I can't possibly invest in the right tools and software and personal development that's going to help me to do it. Actually, if we can think bigger about, so if I'm going to do this properly, this is what I need to invest in to be able to deliver what I want to do. And then work out from there, what is it that's going to bring the right amount of money in that means that I can do this and know that I have the security. Because I think taking that approach to it, not coming at it from a place of lack and there isn't any money anywhere, and instead thinking that I can make this happen, I just have to position it properly, that will be that will just get you in the right place from right at the beginning of your journey.
Yeah, totally. It's all about just giving yourself those little sort of strategic steps, isn't it? Giving yourself those kind of insights into how you can make it happen, because we can either just kind of sit there in lack and never do anything and get absolutely paralyzed and overwhelmed by the whole thing, or sometimes we can take it to the other extreme and think, I'm just going to remortgage my house to make this thing happen, without really having a plan and without really kind of knowing the steps that we need to take to make it work. So I think you're right, it's so important to have both, to not be held back by fear, but also to have the kind of right steps in place, or as far as you can when you're starting to take that journey. So what do you think it is that's helped you succeed, and in such a short space of time, what do you think's really contributed to that?
I think that mindset has helped a lot. Obviously, the Six Figure Bookkeeper is a sort of second business that I've started in the last couple of years. So I've definitely learned a lot from starting two businesses. But the things that have really helped us to grow this business, and I suppose I haven't really told you what we do. So we help bookkeepers and accountants to start practices. So we help them to find their clients, get their pricing right, get themselves out there, really. Yeah. And we really focused on the niche. Now that really helped us because we knew exactly who we were talking to, and that has grown. So we went into this as bookkeepers who felt that we didn't have a community, and we focused on creating that community for bookkeepers. I mean, since then, lots of accountants have got involved as well, and I'm an accountant too. So I suppose that attracts people, but just being really clear on that messaging has helped us grow the business. And because we knew those clients really, really well, and we have conversations with them, we've been able to deliver a service and be really focused on that being the core service, which answers their questions and solves their challenges. So I really think if you can get into your market and know who your people are and listen to them and work out how it's right for you to respond with your service, that is definitely the key to why we've grown so quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. It's having that kind of clarity up front really, really helps, doesn't it? And as you say, actually listening to what people want and really checking in with that, because so often people dive into it thinking, I've got this great idea, I'll go and put it out there, and then find that it's just not quite hitting that spot. So doing that research, getting the feedback from your audience is so important, isn't it? Wonderful, good. So I guess it was kind of a fairly natural niche for you. It was pretty much that's set in stone.
Well,
That's going to be my
do you know what? I think like niching's been quite an important part regardless. So even when I was running the bookkeeping practice, I started working with creatives because my husband's a creative, and it was his colleagues and freelancers who were the ones coming to me saying, can you help with my tax return? So, and I knew that actually if I understood one space really well and was able to like really understand their fears, I could then go out and deliver a service in a way that really spoke to people who just have the same challenges. You can get yourself to be part of those networks. It just is made so much more efficient, but also you can become a specialist because you know everything about that industry, and you can almost like you can benchmark for people. You can say, look, I know other people like you, and have you thought about doing this? Because this is kind of best practice. This is the best way I've seen it working. That could work for you too. I think you're just so valuable if you have a niche. Yeah,
definitely. I think personally big fan of niching. I think it's really difficult for some people to find what their niche is, but I think for me, I think just like taking action, going out and exploring, trying stuff out and asking people that are listening to you what they want and gradually refining it from there is really a valuable way to do it too. So did you ever imagine you'd be where you are right now back in those early days?
Well, I didn't expect to be running a community of bookkeepers. I think I always deep down wanted to work for myself. I've always wanted to have projects and to feel in control of things. I'm also the kind of person that I suppose I've always been asked for my opinion on things, and in terms of, I suppose, informally coaching people and giving people confidence in themselves, which seems interesting given, you know, I needed to come and get some support from me, but I think we all have to work on ourselves, you know, whoever we are. I think it makes a lot of sense when I look back at it now, but no, the other side, 5 years ago, I never would have seen this coming. So,
no.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
Absolutely. And I think that's a really important point is, you know, as a mindset coach, I spent quite a while thinking I'm fine with this mindset thing. I've got it all covered. I don't need any help with that. But it was when I finally did admit that maybe some support with my own mindset would be helpful that really just shifted things no end for me. Because we do, you know, regardless of what we know or what we do in our careers, we get stuck in a rut. We just mentally, we do. Our subconscious just likes to live in the same place, and sometimes it just takes that person outside of you to ask the right questions and push you in the right direction. And that's when the change really starts to happen, isn't it?
And it can be something really minor. It can be somebody coming in and saying, like, because the thing is, like, we can learn all the theory, like we can read all the books, we can listen to all the podcasts, we can go and, I don't know, spend a fortune on having some coaching, but unless we actually go and implement it, nothing changes. So you're not actually doing it and living it until you're starting to make those changes. And it can just be the slightest thing that can make a massive difference in pushing your business forward. So I completely agree. We all got to work on ourselves, but we also have to implement what we're taking from that.
Yeah, most definitely. There's a lot of talk, isn't there, in the entrepreneurial space of just, you know, visualizing it, believing it's going to be true, and then magical things will happen. But actually taking those little action steps as well is so key to that. You can't create a different future without doing something different. It sounds really obvious, but I think it's important to remind people of that and remind ourselves of that from time to time too.
It's hard because we're all so short of time that it's really easy to fill your day with, I mean, I work 4 days a week and I work school hours. So I think I've probably got 5 productive hours really. And it's so easy for that to be booked up back to back with meetings, and okay, the meetings are great and the conversations are great, but what happens next? What is the action after that? And I think we need, even if you can make half an hour a day available to follow up in some way or do whatever is going to move the business forward, or even to take that sort of top-down view of, well, okay, all these opportunities are here for me right now, that these are all the things I could be doing, but out of those, which are the ones that are aligning with the vision I have for the future? Taking that step back can be a really good use of time as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Just having that focus, that time just to or giving yourself that time just to have that overview and not get caught up in the day-to-day stuff. And you're so right, again, coaching can really, really help with that and just keep you accountable in a way to your goals and your vision and making them happen. So what would you tell your startup self now if you could wind that clock back?
I think I would have loved to have thought bigger. I think there are quite a lot of things I could have done. I think often when we start businesses, we go into it thinking it's just going to be me, and I'll just do a bit of stuff, and then I'll earn a bit of money. Yeah. And I started out as an hourly rate bookkeeper, which is how a lot of people come into our community. A lot of people start out, don't they, doing something that they charge an hourly rate for. And that, do you know what? It's fine. If that's what you want to do, that's okay. But there is, if you can see the value in what you're doing, you're not then competing with everyone else who does the same generic thing as you based on price. And I think if you can, from day one, think about what your business would look like if it was a bigger business. If you imagine yourself in 5 years' time, what do you want the business to look like? Do you want to still be like me, doing the corporate job and doing a day a week of bookkeeping on the side? If that is really your future, if that is really your vision for how you want your life to be, good for you, that go and charge your hourly rate. But if you're actually thinking, no, I want to be able to choose my working hours, I want to be able to work around my family, then probably you're going to need to bring someone into your business to support you with some admin. You're going to need to outsource some stuff because you're going to need to be on sales calls and you're not going to be doing all the doing. And if you can think about those kind of things and actually what will the business look like in the future, then you can set it up from day one like that. And I do, looking back, I very quickly made those changes. I saw that I needed to bring people into the business, but I wish I'd seen it from day one. But then, you know what, we're not entrepreneurs on day one. I don't think all of us are born as entrepreneurs, and we just don't think like that because that's not how the world of work is anyway. No, we'd all be doing it if it was that easy, wouldn't we? We'd all be there. I think that is so critical to envision that future and what sort of support you're going to need, and say, like, it's what I'm doing now, is this fulfilling that? Is this really moving me towards that goal? I'll tell you what, you know, we're traveling quite a lot at the moment because it's that sort of conference time of year, and flying to Newcastle next week, and I paid somebody who is a specialist VA who sorts out travel arrangements. I think she must take a commission or something. It doesn't cost us very much, but in those sort of early days, you know, we were talking about coming from this place of lack. I probably would have thought, I could book this myself. Why would I possibly pay someone else to do that for me? And these are the kind of things that actually, you know what, she rings me up, she's checked everything's fine, she's sorted my parking out, she sent me printed out copies of it, which I don't know how sustainable that is, but you know what, she's organized everything and put it in a little folder for me. I don't have to think of anything. And that is priceless. That is worth so much more to me than £30 or whatever I've paid her to do that piece of work for me. So it's thinking about, what do I really want my day to be taken up with?
Definitely, it's sort of stepping into those CEO shoes, as it were, isn't it? And I've massively been guilty of that in my business, just thinking I can DIY everything, so I'm going to DIY everything. But I tell you, hiring my VA just made all the difference, and it just gives you so much headspace and so much more time to really focus on doing the things that are going to drive the business forward. So absolutely agree with that. So what do you find really helps you stay on track now? What advice would you give to anybody who's hoping to grow a successful six-figure business? What do they need to be doing to make sure they get there?
Well, do you know, I think it's always about being very clear about where you're going, because if you have a clear, and actually it's only very recently that I've written my own vision and mission statement, because I always thought, you know, it's so easy to get carried away. A lot of people go into starting businesses and they're like, I need a business plan and it's going to be 30 pages long and it needs spreadsheets and forecasts and I need to like analyze. do you know what? You don't. You need to find something that makes money. Like, how does this make money and solve a problem in the quickest possible way so you can make money? Because otherwise you're just spending time writing a business plan. But I think that spending a bit of time on just being clear on exactly where you want the business to be and how you see the future and how you support your clients, that will help you to rule out the stuff that isn't worth your time. Because we get lots of opportunities now, and lots of people want us to speak on panels and do various things for them or write things for them, and if that actually takes away from time we could be spending on something that helps us grow our business, we need to say no. But it's sometimes from an egotistical point of view, it's so tempting to say, oh yeah, I'd love to do that. So that focus, I think, if you want to grow your business, have get your niche, focus on your niche, focus on what your niche needs. What do you want the business to look like? And really, focus your time on what really truly needs your attention, because we've all only got 24 hours a day and you don't want to be working all the time. And that's one thing that's going to help us like remove that overwhelm.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like setting the compass, isn't it? Just programming in where you want to go, and then you're gonna figure it out and get yourself there. So what do you do in terms of just supporting yourself mindset wise, and I guess giving yourself that time out to make sure that you're keeping that mindset in the right place for growing your business?
I think Abby, that I'm not that great at self-care. I'm a busy person with a lot of ideas, and I think I'm quite creative, and I've always got projects that I want to start, and I have to stop myself. And so in terms of my own mindset, I've worked with you. We definitely have informal mentoring relationships with people within our industry who've helped us with our business. We also have a business coach who's helping us with more of the performance mindset stuff as well. Like, I think that spending that time on it is really important, and it takes you out of your business to work on yourself. I think there's spending time on that, but also like really removing yourself from any opportunity to be working. So finding something else to do. So trash TV, we are absolutely hooked on a series on the TV at the moment, and my husband and I will sit down and we watch it, and that's just something we do. It's like, it's 9 o'clock, we're sitting down and we're doing this, and actually that's quite refreshing to have that break away. And he, like, last night I was still working, he's like, Zoe, are you coming to watch the TV? So I know it might sound like for some people that might sound like time that actually could be really productive and used in the business, but otherwise I will just work till midnight. So something like that helps. I don't know, just something that's going to make your mind do something completely different. I've just started Welsh lessons because we live in Wales, and I don't speak Welsh. But I know that also gives me something else to think about, and I can't be thinking about work when I'm trying to read Welsh words. It's really, really valuable to get that little bit of time just switched off, and it really, really helps your brain to process stuff and to come up with all those great ideas that you just can't get when you're so close to the problem. So good plan. And as you say, it doesn't have to be anything like groundbreaking and earth-shattering. You don't have to be doing headstands and meditations and all sorts of self-care stuff, but just like doing something that's different, doing something that switches you off is so vital. So awesome. It's been wonderful to speak to you today. Thank you so much for your time. Where can people find you and learn more about you if they want to? Oh, thanks, Abby. It's been amazing. Well, the best place to connect with us is in the Figure Bookkeepers Club. If you're a bookkeeper or an accountant, or if you have a bookkeeper or accountant, tell them about what we do, because we will help them be better bookkeepers and accountants for you, if nothing else. You can also connect with me on Instagram @_Zoe Whitman. Those are the best places.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And we shall keep watching your journey with interest. Thank you, Zoe.
Take care. Bye.
So there we have it. I think my key takeaways from Zoe's interview today were just having that future vision, that real idea of where you want to be in your business, and really getting into that, really creating the detail around it, but then also stepping back and asking yourself, how is it that I can get there? What are the steps I need to take? What can I start to do towards that plan now? And just not allowing fear to get in your way, because so often it's just so easy to tell ourselves that we can't, or it's too scary to take that next step, or we can't really afford to invest in that support. But it's always worth just asking yourself whether those stories are really true, or whether it's just fear getting in your way, and doing things like as soon as you can afford to invest in some support, making sure that you're doing that when you're, just about able to afford it. It's so funny. As soon as we make that decision that we are going to make this thing happen, things tend to just fall into place, because as soon as we make a firm decision, our brain has this commitment to making that thing happen. So I've definitely found this in my own business, where I've maybe invested in a VA and thought, I'm not sure I can really stretch to that every month. All of a sudden I've managed to make that income to cover the cost and grow my business as well, because I think it just really, it makes it have to happen if we've put our money where our mouth is. So that's some top tips from Zoe today, and I hope you found that really interesting. Look forward to coming back next week with another incredible guest, and I hope you have a wonderful week in the meantime. Take care. Thanks for listening. I really hope you've enjoyed today's episode. If you have, it would be incredible if you could pop a review on iTunes, Google, Spotify, or your favourite podcast platform. And if you want to dive deeper, you can find me in my Facebook group Unblock Your Business, or at www.unblockyourbusiness.com.